Hi guys, happy Sunday. I just had an incredible worship service that was at my church, and I just wanted to share some snippets from the sermon in case you didn't make it to a church service, or in case you just wanted to learn some things on your Sunday, or maybe you didn't want to go to church today, and I understand that. I have been very hurt myself by the modern North American church in their kind of lack of acceptance and openness to diversity and expression and creativity. So I very much understand why someone, sorry, I'm like looking down at my notes, but I very much understand and sympathize with someone who has kind of given up on church. But I still love the church, which isn't a building, it's people. And my heart is to help create safe spaces for expression and childlike hearts of spontaneity and authenticity and creativity and expression. So anyway, all that to say, I get why you may not want to go to church, but I hope you haven't rejected God altogether, because He is gentle and He is not distant, and He's full of joy and wildness and creativity, and He's misrepresented and He's misunderstood, and people think that He's, harsh and critical and all these horrible things, but that's not who He is. And I just want to help share just His shine, His glory, His who he truly is. But anyway, so that's my tangent. But I had a really good sermon this morning. Shout out to Samuel if you're watching this. That was right on, and I just support you as a person, and I thank you for the encouragement that you've been in my life. And I also thank you for what you said at the beginning of your sermon about our church being a place that welcomes physical expressions of praise. It welcomes not just our mind and our heart to praise and worship God, but also our bodies. We're holistic beings. These are connected pieces, and they don't have to be segmented in our congregation, and I really appreciate that. So a couple of points that I really, really like from the sermon. So our church is doing this theme right now of transformation, and I hadn't been to church in probably like a month, because I was gone for Christmas break, and then I was gone. If you hear sawing, that's my husband. He's an architecture student. He's like sawing in the side yard. But I hadn't been for a while. Anyway, I was at my residency for my M.F.A. poetry program in Tampa, and so I was back. And so I was really excited to hear this theme of transformation, because that's a theme in my life right now. I'm trying to shed off the layers of fear, the layers of false shame, and kind of release my worry about what other people are thinking of me, kind of releasing my worry about other people's responses. As my new mentor Erica would say, like, you do you. That's all I can do, is I can only sing my song and I can tell my story. And I really liked the message today, talking about how we can tend to take on a fake identity. We can tend to mimic others or pretend to be like them in order to find acceptance, in order to find a blessing or approval. And we all just kind of end up being like each other, and it's this echo chamber, and we're dumbed down and numbed down to the lowest common denominator. And there's not, sorry, I have to sneeze. Oh, now that I'm oh my goodness. But there's not as much, color and diversity and expression in us kind of all being what we think we're supposed to be, instead of just being who we are. And I just really, really love that. So I'm just going to go through the points that I most took out of the sermon, and then I'm just going to vamp on it a little bit. So he was talking about a story primarily in Genesis 32 about Jacob and Esau and the two brothers. And it said, don't spend your life striving for what you already have. That was like, whoa, because I'm always like pursuing freedom. I got a tattoo that says freedom. For me, that means creativity, freedom of expression, to not be suppressed or oppressed by societal standards, but to truly embody who I was created to be. And so the idea that I already have freedom in Christ, that I already have God's approval and pleasure. This is something that I have in the womb. I already have a mark of being special. I already have God's approval. I already have power and authority through Jesus Christ. That doesn't come with a title or a leadership position. That is something that is inside of me that God gave me and that no man can take away from me. So that was a really encouraging point. Hopefully you guys can hear. Can you guys hear okay? Hi, Jamie. So it talked about Jacob and Esau, and if you know the Bible story, Jacob wanted his father's blessing, which was supposed to go to Esau. Esau was hairier, so and their dad was kind of blind. So basically, like, oh wait, I thought it was Jacob who was supposed to have the blessing, and then I forgot. But one of the brothers, basically, they deceived the father by like putting an animal hide on their skin, so that when the father reached out, he felt hairiness, and he assumed it was the one brother that's hairier. And so he gave his blessing to the other guy. So anyway, so we said we have the capacity to accept a fake identity in order to accept a blessing. We say, if I act like this, I'll get this. Instead of trust God and like trusting God to give us things, we sort of play these games in our societies in order to like, okay, well, like societally, like, I couldn't say that, or like I shouldn't be too honest, or like, it's okay to lie, and like just whatever that is for you, we kind of do what we're told in order to be accepted. And I don't know about you, but I'm kind of over that kind of acceptance. Like if someone's accepting me because I'm a robot, like that's nasty. Like that's not even like them really accepting me. And so they're not even accepting me. They're accepting this like fake personage that I'm putting on. Like that's not good enough for me. I want to be accepted and celebrated for who I truly am. And the people that reject me, like at least I know who my true friends are, Yeah, I want it through authenticity and being myself. And then he said prayer should be a first resort, not a last resort. I kind of liked that. Like, turn your worries into prayers. If you're like, oh, what am I going to do? Just like making it a habit. Just be like, God, like, situation sucks. Like, I just don't even know. Like, I don't even know what to say, God. Just, Lord. Just like being with God and being honest with him. So humility, he said, and trust is what brings about transformation. So one of the things I'm kind of called to do is to praise God with my body, like dance type of stuff. But it could be like today I was jumping and running around and whatever. It's just like I'm a kid, God made me such a childlike heart. And that requires humility because some people are going to misunderstand me. Some people are going to misperceive me. And I've let that hold me back for so many years. I've worried that people would think I was prideful. Like, oh, she's just dancing because she's trying to like show off or whatever. Or, like, who does she think she is? Or like, you're a distraction. There's so many crap lies that I've just like inserted that have held me back from, doing what I was called to do and being who I was created to be. And, so it takes humbleness for me to put myself out there before the eyes of others, before their judgment or condemnation or misunderstanding. But I want transformation, I want to stop groveling around as a caterpillar and actually become the butterfly that I am and the colorful spectacle that is. And so then it went on into talking about Jacob, and he had an encounter, like something happened with him when he let go, when he kind of, the cliche, let go and let God, but really being willing and vulnerable to be a vessel and to literally let God use you and move you. And it's really, really scary. Like I want to do that for God on Sunday. Like I say, we say, have your way, Lord, and I give you permission to move in me and through me, but I'm afraid of what he's going to do through me. Like, what if I start like yelping? I mean, who knows what I would do? What if I start I just don't know, because God's so creative and wild, and I love it, but I feel like people are going to be like, the fuck is that? So it's scary. It's like, okay, Lord, I'm willing to dance for you. That's generally acceptable. I'm willing to raise my hand for you. I'm willing to clap for you. But I don't want to have boxes of what God's allowed to do. That's messed up. I don't want to suppress and limit the expression of God through me. I don't want to, relinquish some of the glory that he could have through me. I want him to receive all the glory, all the honor, because he is worthy and he's good and I love him. And anyway, so just letting go and trying to surrender. Today's surrender is tomorrow's freedom is a quote from a song, actually. Tomorrow's freedom is today's surrender. It's a beautiful song. He didn't want to lie anymore or be anyone else. So when they asked him his name, he's like, I am Jacob. And that's what I want to say with my life. I want to say, I am Kendall. I'm not Sarah. I'm not Jessica. I'm not Joe Schmo. I'm not your average person. I am abnormal, and I embrace that, and I celebrate who I am. And my prayer and hope is, and I trust that this is the case, that in me trying to release myself more, I want to give others permission to do the same with their lives. I want them to stop doing what they're told and start living authentically to who they were created to be. Because it's horrible, when you're holding yourself back and you're constantly thinking of just micromanaging your own body and analyzing your subconscious and anticipating how it might be perceived and mind reading. It's what causes some people to drink. That's what makes me want to drink. If I drink, sometimes I'm just having fun and I want to have a beer, but sometimes I want to drink because I have so many feelings and I can't express them, and so I choose to suppress them, and that's so sad. It's like your life is going into the ground, into death, into static, instead of rising up and breaking out and coming alive and being whole and full and free and abundant. And there's movement in that. There's resonance in that. There's a buzzing vibration in that, and it's not held back. And I don't want to be held back anymore. And there's so many concerns. As a woman, it's oh, am I dressed modestly, or is this guy looking at me this way, or is that dangerous for me to be dancing around, or there's so many things, but I don't know, and I'm still working that out. I'm still working out the details, but I want to lean toward freedom, and I stand for freedom, and I feel like I've made some progress recently, which I'm really happy about. But anyway, back to the sermon notes. I was talking about praying. I'm not going to pray like someone else. God knows who I am. I won't use this example because I don't have the permission to use this example. But basically, I'll summarize. One of my friends, feels like she prays different than most people. She didn't grow up in the church environment. She doesn't necessarily speak like Christianese, and so she feels like her prayers feel different than other people's, and that's so beautiful and good. We need to not worry about praying like someone else, because God knows who we are. Anyway, it's about God. It's not about other people's perceptions. Other people need to be accepting and kind and loving and not making assumptions and judgments. But at the same time, remembering that Jesus Christ was also rejected, and God is often misunderstood. God gets slumped in with all the evil Christians. Can I say that? I'm not saying all Christians are evil. I'm saying that there are evil people that call themselves Christians. There are mean people. There are... Okay, I'm going to stop on this tangent because I don't really know if I want to go down that route. But people blame God for things that he isn't responsible for, like natural disasters or like someone getting sick or someone getting cancer. Like, people blame God for that, and God doesn't want that for people. He doesn't want people to be sick. He doesn't want people to be in pain. Like, he wants their best, and he wants them to be safe and happy and like everything. Like, he's our protector and our refuge. And so there's just so many things that God gets misunderstood on. And the devil like is causing that confusion because he doesn't want people to know God. He doesn't want people to be loved by God or to know that they can be who they are in him, that he's accepting in that way. So anyway, okay, so in Hebrews 5, he referenced that like Jacob got a new name, and where he went matched his name. And I thought that was really cool because I feel like there's this seed planted in each of us that grows into our destiny and our calling, and it blossoms as we go on our journey. And I was talking about names today, and like my name is Kendall Hoeft, and Kendall means steadfast and enduring. That means that I'm relentless and I will not give up, and I will not stop in what God has called me to do in my life. I will not give up on his people. I will not give up on creativity and expression. I will not give up on his glory, and I will continue to be brave by the grace of God. And then Hope is my middle name, and Hope is where I'm from. You know, hope is eternal. Hope is part of God's nature. I don't know, like it's a thing of heaven. It's a heavenly hope, and yet hope is also the knowing of what is to come. Like, I'm from another place. I'm from heaven, and that's where I'm going. And someday every knee will bow and every tongue will confess that Jesus Christ is Lord. And we will shout and twirl and scream and whirl and jump and be joyful and enjoy God as we were meant to. And he will enjoy us and we will enjoy him, and there will be so much heavenly pleasure in him. And so that's what I'm from, that's what I'm for, and that's where I'm going. So my name matches my destiny, and I just think that that's a beautiful point. I thought that the other point he made about God wants the real you. God created you. He created your quirks and your desires and your, like, who you are, whatever you think is odd or off or weird about you. God did that. Like, he's the quirky creative, you know, that's up there doing these weird choices. It's awesome. And God doesn't just love you. He does love you, but he also likes you. He likes who you are. He likes who I am. And I was just so encouraged, because so many times in our lives, we're not going to have man's approval, meaning people aren't going to like us. People are going to think this or that about us. Maybe they're misunderstanding us. But to know that the God of the universe, the King of Kings, the Lord of Lords, Jesus, he loves me and he likes me, and he loves you and likes you too. He accepts you. And not only that, it's not like he sees somebody and he's like, you're cool. It's like, he designed you. He crafted you. He created you. And so you're from him. And so, like, you're his art piece. You're his living work, you know, this beautiful thing. And so he's connected to you in that way. Like, you and I, we reflect the glory of God. We represent the artist. Like, we're beautiful, we're glorious, we're good. And so anyway, I just wanted to encourage you with these thoughts on this beautiful Sunday. And my battery is dying. Hopefully the screen didn't go dark. Okay, I'll finish it up with that. Bye, guys. Hope and freedom.